we're finally here. This is the episode that is going of the podcast that is going to get me cancelled. Because I am fucking ready to just vent and shit talk my own audience. Wait, to an extent, of course.
Yeah.
Hold on, my fucking mic is in the show. God fucking.
Oh, thanks for subscribing, Al.
Hey, Al.
Oh, you've been for 14 months. Shit. So I like how in the chat, like usually the text box is so small. We got the emoji that's fucking huge. God bless. But yeah, fucking spill the tea, Lasse.
Alright, so,
you've had a fucking fortnight.
I have please no. I'm gonna like preface this and say that there's a lot of this stuff that I cannot legally get into. Just not because I'm necessarily involved in the, like any legal battle or anything, but because the topic in question has some legal stuff within it that I am not. Like, I after nondescript video game retailer, I'm not taking any chances.
That's fair.
All I can say is that 2 weeks ago, which is why we didn't have a podcast last week, I showed up to work, and all of a sudden, my boss's shit was gone. And that is because my boss had decided to quit. And so now we were in a position where we suddenly had to figure out what to do from here. Do we continue working, or do we like pull the plug and say we did our best? Obviously, we decided to keep on working, but for like that entire week, it was like from when and part of the next week as well. Every time that you showed up for work, it was like questioning, is the door even gonna open when I come up here tomorrow? Because we might shut down today, basically. And it was just fucking stressful as hell. Now, this all happened on the same day as Russia invaded Ukraine. So like you can't exactly go online and start going, gee, Willikers, I could sure look at some fucking anime titties to cheer myself up, because then you're finding out that, oh no, actual war crimes is happening. So yeah, that was great.
That was we're in the middle of history right now. Like, holy fucking shit.
It is fucking nuts. And like I am saying this perfectly well aware that who the fuck am I to complain when there's people in Ukraine who are just like living this shit right now. But it is fucking scary living so close to a place where they last week or earlier this week had a fucking grenade like cross paths with a nuclear reactor, and I was like, oh boy, there's a fire in Europe's biggest nuclear reactor. If this thing blows up, I'm going bye-bye. So yeah, that's been fun. But so what I like we're hopefully later on in this podcast that we're gonna keep a little extra short this time around, but we're hopefully going to segue into something a little more positive. But right now, I'm gonna be very venomous. I'm gonna be toxic. I'm gonna be kind of an asshole, and I'm going to be that because normally I do not like to really like highlight shitty people in my community. Or maybe not even like shitty people, but I do not like to highlight bad behavior in my community. Most of all because like everyone's gonna have their bad eggs. This comes with the territory when you like gather so many people under one banner. And I would much rather like highlight the great people. and there has also been a bunch of that. But I have reached a point now where I'm at not a breaking point, but where I cannot keep this in anymore. I need to fucking talk about this. So when all this shit happened, I put out on the Webcomic Relief Discord under the announcement tab that, hey, I'm going through some shit. Don't worry if you'd like, it's nothing like dangerous or anything, but I'm going to just like disappear from social media and Discord and everything. And I'm basically doing this because, and this is a nice story. When I initially announced way back when that I had gotten my depression, I also like, I didn't make an active effort to be quiet. I was just quiet because I had a lot of stuff to deal with at that time. And I remember Skid and David Lilly both like reached out and like, hey man, are you okay? We haven't heard from you in a while and we were kind of getting worried about you. Which was really nice and considerate. So I've realized this time that I'm probably going to need that moment that I'm just taking it off to myself. So I'm just gonna put it out there that, hey, I'm dealing with some shit. And I will not like get back to you or anything like that. Like I'm just gonna focus on me right now, and it's gonna be basically radio silence from me. And at first I was very humble because a lot of people sent me private messages and were like, hey man, take all the time that you need. We're here for you. Do you need us to send you some cookies? People were just like really cool and really like nice. And even like several days after the initial announcement, people were still, going, hey, you don't have to talk or anything. Just letting you know we think about you. And to those people, I am legit grateful. If it hadn't been for those people, for Alice and for you, because you're one of the few people that I've talked to about this, I would have probably I would not have been in as good of a mental state as I ended up being, which was still not the greatest, but I was at a point where I felt like I was going to get through this. But the negative things that I'm going to highlight are that I wrote in no uncertain terms that, hey, I'm dealing with some fucking shit right now. And it's under the announcement tab. No one else can write there. It's not like this message can disappear into the void or anything. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're on the Webcam Relief Discord, you know that thing is suddenly goes white, then you know that like, okay, Risa has said something or less. I unfortunately had not one, not two, but actually a good few people whom I have, I've always tried to be approachable. So like, no matter what, I always feel like if you contact me, I'm like, hey man, I got this issue. And that can be with your comic, it can be with your writing, it can be with motivation, it can even be a fucking personal life. I've had to talk with some people I've never met before or talked to before, where they had like some personal issues that they were struggling with, and I will sit down and I will talk to them. I've set up to like 3 a.m. or dropped some serious business because I knew that someone was in a rough place and they needed someone to talk to. That's how I was raised. That's how I'm doing these things. But unfortunately, I think that this may have set an unfortunate precedent where people just think that I am living and existing purely to service you. And that's not how it works. I'm doing this because I want to be nice to you. A stranger is just a friend you haven't gotten yet. So, that's just how I am. And so when these people reached out and like, hey, what do you think about this framing in this paneling? Or, hey, I have this issue or anything. And I go, hey man, I'm dealing with this shit. Like, I'm sorry, I can't really help you right now. And they go, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But like, real quick, what about the colors here? Are they okay? I'm like,
bro,
nah.
Take them fucking hints.
Yeah, and so those were like the worst ones. There were also ones where I can kind of, I'm not unreasonable. I like to think, like, if you have like, if you reach out like, hey man, how you doing, and I'm not replying, and you like continue to write, hey, how you doing, I'm not like, I'm not so self up my own ass that I am going, really, I can't believe that everyone in the entire Discord haven't seen the announcement. Like, and then how dare you write to me? It is just like, multiple days in a row is like, really, you could not just be asked to fucking check. And unfortunately, like, I wrote like an entire thing on the Discord about like more in details about what I've exactly been going through this past couple of weeks, and I also wrote on Twitter about like my, like, how I've been feeling about it all. But like the long and short of it is that I have, like, with this and other stuff, I've kind of come to the point now as a creator where I'm realizing that I have been put on a pedestal that I do not want to be put on. I am now a YouTuber. I am a content creator. I am an influencer. And as of such, normal rules doesn't necessarily apply to me, or at least people would like to think that. People don't assume that I am a dude who has a 9-to-5 job that I need to, work. People just assume that if, like, I am the webcomic guy, I am the dude that if you have something that you need help with in that regard, it is my sole existence to come to your aid and help you. And that is not the case, unless and so this is where I'm probably going to like come across as like a bad person or anything. But unless you're actively paying me on Patreon, I do not have any fucking incentive to help you other than I want to.
That's
like, yeah, like, if you come to me and you ask for guidance and you're not like a paying patron or anything, and I do indeed decide that I want to help you or give you some pointers or anything like that, that is me doing this out of the kindness of my heart. It is not something that comes with the territory. It's not something that you're owed. It's not for me being in the position that I am in. That is me being a normal guy taking time out of his day to help you in whatever shape or fashion. Now, obviously, this whole rant does not mean that you are not allowed to come to me if you have any issues or problems or things that you want to talk about or anything like that. Not at all. But during this time, I was just in a state where I really needed that space, and people could not respect that and have just come to the. And it made me realize that people have come to this this understanding. Conclusion. The conclusion, thank you, of that I will always like exist for you. I am a person that doesn't exist outside of the YouTube algorithm. There is no lesser, there is only riser. And that is not, and as I wrote on Twitter, that's not where I want to be. If this is the direction I'm in, where I'm no longer going to be like treated as a person, but instead as a YouTube robot or anything like that, then this is not the course that I want to be on. Obviously, that sounds very dire, and no, of course, I'm not gonna fucking end YouTuber right now, but I don't know what steps I have to take for people to realize that that's not me. If you want that, you can go on to any like big YouTubers like fucking PewDiePie or anything like that. But where I'm at now, that's not where I want to be. And I don't ever want to be that. I want to be able to look at a username in my chat and be able to, like, not that I'm going to, but say out loud that person's name. Like I want that connection with people. I want these friends. I want these connections. I don't want these social links, if you would. I don't want this superficial thing. And we actually had like a moment in the last podcast episode where people were like, "Hey, every YouTuber should be like you." Lesser. I think that you, Claudia, you can attest that I am doing my absolute hardest at any given time never to be put on a pedestal. I will act.
Honestly, yeah. You're right.
I will actively shun me calling the people who subscribe or watch my stuff fans. I am just a normal dude. I am just a normal content creator. I have never been of the opinion that I know better than anyone else. I will maybe say that I have on good authority that I am informed on this particular subject thing when it comes to like design, for example, or stuff like that. But I've never wanted to be in a elevated position compared to anyone else. But with that whole mindset of just wanting to be one of like the same as everyone else, I kind of hope that the same how do I put it, when you wave your entire like the stuff that comes with being a YouTuber, like a big like a following and people who will fucking kiss the ground that you're walking on, all that shit that I don't agree with, then I kind of hope that if you wave away that, then you also wave away the bad things, which are that people will start seeing you less as a person and more as a weird alien thing. Again, I think I brought it up in the last podcast, and I don't know why it really like hit me like that. But there was that moment in my Yosh video where someone had pointed something out, and I corrected them, and they were like, "Oh, it's such a typical YouTuber behavior. You could just have said my bad and moved on. But no, you're so entitled and everything." And I'm like that really rubbed me the wrong way. Not like he's free to have his own opinion and all that stuff, and I'm no shape or form going to take that away from him. But when I hear that, it's like you have misunderstood everything about what I stand. Oh well, maybe this is your first video and you don't know what I'm standing for. But I have never been, or at least wanted to be, like the well-informed reviewer that comes in and like dissects something. Every point that I raise is something that I would like. It's an issue I would have as an audience member, and that is, like, I think we also talked about this in previous podcasts, where I am very much like, yeah, we did it when we talked about like the whole thing about like reading into like why something like why Arif's death scene in Final Fantasy VII is bad, and then you can go in and you can read all about like why they decided to make it like the way that it is, like where I am of the opinion that all of my reviews, all of my thoughts and points, I want those to come from someone who is an audience member as much as everyone else, and that's, I guess that's why I'm so against people like putting me on these pedestals and at the same time then like assume that I'm not just a normal person, because I really am. I am a normal fucking 32-year-old living in Denmark, and like I am not a fucking "Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Remember to hit that like button." Like I'm not a fucking cartoon. I'm not a character. I'm just fucking me. Risa is a exaggerated version of me, but ultimately it is still just me. I'm still just a guy, and so yeah, I was just really disheartened to see that people could not respect that I was going through these things. That people were so focused on, no, you need to tell me what to do about my comic or my art or this personal problem that I have or yada yada yada. Like I was not allowed to have a moment of my own. And that was like, I know that there's certain responsibilities that comes when you make a community, and I know that all of this comes across as me being angry at that fact, and it's not, but I guess I was just kind of shocked that that
There'd be some people who'd like see you transactionally, be like, "Hey, you're probably going through some shit right now, but give me that. But tell me how to make this comic good, though."
Yeah, exactly.
Just fucking. Yo, like I made this comic the same page that I've been showing everybody for the past 2 months. How do I make it good? Or give me my head pats. That's really what it was at the end of the day. It's literally just give me my fucking head pats.
Yeah.
I don't even think half the time they wanted like advice. They just wanted to be praised for it.
No, but because like it is like, what do you want? Like my fucking stamp of approval? There's an entire fucking Discord that has like a board specifically for asking like feedback on comics and stuff like that. Go there. Like, oh, Les needs some time for himself. Instead of just go, no, let me bother him some more. Fucking go and talk with the fucking, like, the rest of the Discord. There's plenty of people. Al is asking whether or not you should stop calling me Riser. At this point, like, I don't care one way or the other. All I really want is that for people to understand that there is a distinction between Riser and me. But I also understand that we are now 10 years in or whatever the fuck on my whole YouTube thing. So like I understand that people are just like associating me with the name Riser, and that is perfectly fair. I'm never gonna fucking correct you if you call me Riser, but I'm trying to make the distinction at the very least. But yeah, so that was my little moment where I just had to fucking vent in terms of the whole job situation, because I realized that I skipped that nice and quickly to make people worry about that, which I'm sorry for. But everything is good now. Everything is great. Actually, we're better off than we have ever been. So that's a massive W. But so yeah, like I'm fine now. I'm still like a little exhausted after everything, but I'm fine. So please do not worry. And I'm back on my social media. I'm back at posting tits or whatever the fuck in the Discord, or whatever I do. I actually don't remember. So everything is fine. But please remember, I am a dude. I am a normal fucking dude. And I hope that you will treat me as such. The /int rant.
You had a way worse. Well, I guess like exciting's not the right word. I mean, I guess from some respects it is than I did, but I'm like, geez.
Eventful.
That's a term. Everyone I knew is going through some overwhelming bullshit. Like, here's what my 2 weeks have been, because like I'm sorry if I'm like segueing away.
No, by all means. Like again, end rant. So like, go on.
Okay, so like my week hasn't really been about myself, because honestly, it's just been me just me doing my job, because I'm strangely getting more hours after like having 2 months of not doing anything. So I'm like, okay, at least I have shit to do. I'm getting money again. But like, we're not going to touch on this too much. But like, I've been this Ukrainian-Russian thing has been affecting everyone else I know more than it has been affecting me. So I've been trying to like either help my friends like be mentally stable for the past couple of days, trying to give them like advice, find them resources. I have a friend who's like getting evicted from their house around the same time the Russian war started. So like they live in the UK, and it has nothing to do with the war, but it's just they're in this predicament where the owner of that house is selling it, and apparently in the UK you only get 2 months notice to find a new fucking home. So that's rough. And they can't go back to Finland at the moment because everything's dangerous right now. Yeah. Thanks, Putin.
Fucking
putting on the Ritz. On another front, I've got like I don't know how the fuck this happened, out of all fucking places. But I made a commission to like a new artist friend, and they turned out to be Russian. And I only found that out because like I made a commission to them the day of the war, and that's when like the sanctions came out. So I got a refund on all my shit.
Mm.
So now I'm just having this weird perspective of like, so what the hell's going on here? Are you doing okay? And then we're just going this weird back and forth where I'm just like learning things, and I'm like, huh. I'm just sitting here, like honestly, it's kind of like what I felt during COVID, where I got all my suffering done ahead of time. So now everyone's just suffering at the same time, and I'm not kind of just weirdly stable in my end.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I just kind of have to hear about it, and it's weird. Because, like, there's not really much I can offer, like, because, like, I can't even pay the person I'm commissioning just because, like, there's, like, no payments I can send to them, because, like, everyone's freaking, like, closed. I tried going to, like, alternative services, of all things, and they keep, like, closing every goddamn day.
Yeah, I heard about some people who bought something for someone from a website, and then they were like, okay, and then I'm going to send you this thing that you absolutely don't need, and then you go and you refund it, and then like you can get money for that. But apparently that has also been like dealt with.
Yeah, like it's rough for everybody out there, man.
Absolutely.
Like it's like if the war wasn't bad enough, everyone I seem to know seems to have going through some kind of shit. And it's weird to be like this outsider person when you're like just watching all this happen, and I don't know how to fucking describe it. It's a weird ass feeling. Like, okay, here's like the only like way I can describe it, and it's such a niche fucking thing. Do you know the show Arthur?
I know of it. I haven't seen it.
Okay. They made this episode about fucking 9/11. Well, it was like a really weird parallel to 9/11. It was actually like a fire drill. And like it goes through like all the perspectives of of the people doing it, but they also did something no other show I've seen mention, and it's like the people who weren't there who were like excluded, because like while all this fire drill bullshit was going on, everyone's talking about it. There's Buster, who's like off to the side. It's like, hey, I was at school, I was at home all day because I was sick. What the hell happened? And then it's like you kind of feel so goddamn out of the loop, and I feel like Buster in this moment, where I'm like, wow, it sucks to be everybody, but I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do now.
Yeah, and
I want to help, but it's like, eh.
And plus, knowing like you're very much a person who will put everyone else in front of yourself, and worry about them. So, yeah, I can imagine that is doing a number on you. And
like I'm not.
It's so weird. But I totally get it. But it's so weird to have that whole thing of like, man, people going through shit is so tough for me. And like,
it sounds like the most selfish fucking thing ever, and I'm like, and I hate that. But it's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do about it? Like, I want to help, I genuinely do, but like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I think like the important thing is to know that yes, it sounds incredibly selfish, but it comes from a place where like you want to help, and that is what is like hard for you is the inability to help, and so like it is everything but selfish, but when you say it like people might assume as much. I know for a fact that's selfish.
Yeah. Like, I'm not looking for, like, pity or anything. I'm looking for, like, I don't know, advice. Like, does anyone know fucking, like, a payment service that still works in Russia? Does anyone know any advice on house hunting in the UK? Does anyone know fucking how to does anyone have a place to live in the mid US? Because I have someone there who's also getting evicted from their house. Like, this had nothing to do with the war. It just happened to them, and then the war fucking happened on top. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, everything just culminated on the same fucking time frame.
There's not enough hours in the way to worry about everyone and stay sane. No, that's true. Like I almost feel selfish that, like, I've got shit together. Well, I mean, like, I say that. My job still kind of sucks, but I'm like, it's nowhere near as bad as what everyone else is going through right now. Does PayPal still work? Oh no, that shit ended that was like the first thing to go.
Yeah, that was one of the first things that went.
Yeah, that was actually how I found out about this war. It's like my PayPal fucking thing got refunded.
That is the most cloudy thing I've ever heard. A fucking war breaks out and you find out by PayPal.
It's like, hey, what the fuck? Oh my god. I mean, it also helps that, like, I'm not on Twitter as much anymore.
Probably for the best.
Yeah.
So, speaking of the war, because obviously we have to talk about it, because I don't know if you know this, but it's a pretty big thing.
We're going to PayPal giveaways do say, but we're living in history right now. Fucking out.
Yeah, I would really wish I wasn't living through multiple, like, history book entries.
Like speedrunning the early 1900s. Did you notice that?
Yeah, it's bad. A thing that I do appreciate about all of this is that I forget what the president of Ukraine is called. Zelensky. And everyone was fucking turning their nose up at him when he became president, because, oh my god, he's a comedian and he used to...
There's a video of him playing the piano with his dick. It's amazing.
Yeah. He's a comedian and he played the protagonist in a movie in which he is a school teacher who becomes president, and he is horribly, like, ill-fitted for that position, and yada yada yada. And he has turned, like, ever since all of this happened, he has turned out to be one of the coolest pro dogs in fucking history. And I love that. And I love that everyone acknowledges this. Like, there's not one who goes, oh, that's a bitch move. No, everyone is going, oh my god, this dude's a fucking Chad. And I love it especially because Putin has done nothing but, like, try and create this image of him being like a fucking alpha.
Like the shirtless bear photo?
Yeah, the shirtless bear photo, like, I thought it was a meme, but it is actively something that Putin has commissioned because he wanted people to think he was so cool. And so, like, this whole war thing is happening. And Putin has very quickly become the joke now. Like, no one, like, not even his own fucking people are in his corner. And even his own people are going, wow, Zelensky is a fucking G. And I love that, because this man has spent so many years building up this fucking, like, trying to build up this image. And then the guy the whole world assumed was a clown turned out to be the fucking dickest pro dog in the world.
Honestly, it's fantastic. Like, I only found this out because, again, I'm commissioning somebody and we're just talking about shit. Like, Russian propaganda is, like, almost as insane as, like, the Chinese bullshit. Because, like, there are people who genuinely believe that, like, Ukraine are Nazis. That's the whole reason why they fucking went in there. They thought they were going to topple all these people. They thought they were going to, like, stop the next Hitler from coming. And turns out putting on the Ritz was the real Hitler all along. But anyway, all that shit is crazy.
Did you fucking see that apparently in Russian news they're like, oh yeah, we have unfortunately suffered some losses in the war. We've lost like 13 people or something. And it's like, those are fucking rookie numbers. You need to go way up, because Ukraine are fucking like folding you guys like laundry. Jesus.
Like, this is how America felt when we got folded by the farmers in Vietnam. I still have people telling us, no, we didn't lose the war. And you know what? Maybe. We bombed the shit out of them, but the outcome still says we goddamn lost. It's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I'm definitely no military expert. The closest thing I've had is goddamn Advanced Wars on the GBA, but holy shit, this is a goddamn embarrassment. Like a lot of the Russian military are just like teenage conscripts. They're just like a bunch of kids.
Yeah, they don't even know why they're there.
They thought they were just gonna walk in and be hailed as heroes, legitimately.
Some people thought it was an exercise.
There was like a post on Twitter where it was just these two kids who were like, people thought it was stupid. I think it's a 300 IQ move. Where it's like, there are these two Russian teenagers in a tank. And like, oh, hang on. Let's drive in front of the police station. So they fucking siphon the gas out of their tank. It's like, hey, we're out of gas. Do you mind if we borrow some? Oh, wait, you're the Ukrainian police? Oh, don't detain me.
Like, that is essentially playing hooky for the war.
Like, that's kind of like the measures you gotta take. Because, like, you got family back home. They've got, like, the IBS, the KGB. I don't fucking remember ICBM. No, that's intercontinental. Fuck. I don't know my fucking alphabet, okay? But like they got people back home that are going to be targeted if you become like a deserter. So it's better to become a prisoner of war. Just not be a part of this. Sounds like the setup of a joke.
I'll be real. Before all this happened, Ukraine didn't even fucking register in my fucking brain. Like, I know my geography as well as I know how to give a girl an orgasm, so not at all. But, like, ever since all this happened, I've just been, like, dumbfounded by how fucking cool the Ukrainians are.
Like, honestly, it's honestly kind of amazing.
Like, Ukraine is essentially the world's Jackie Chan. They're just people who went, leave me alone. Then you fuck with them and then they kick your ass. But they're the nicest people in the fucking world.
It is like, it's hard to describe this because like this happens in every goddamn fucking war I see. Where you have where you think like one power is, I'm so goddamn fucking strong. Don't come at me or I'll fucking nuclear apocalypse your ass. No, excuse me while I muscle in on the territory. And like Putin thought he was just gonna fucking like blitzkrieg Ukraine and just set up a puppet government and win. But like, he literally didn't think past 2 days. Cause then after that, this went on for 2 weeks and like, it's a huge logistic problem. Cause he can't fucking keep up.
Yeah, he thought that they were going to take Kiev in like a day or two.
Yeah. I sadly saw the tanks here in the West who are pro-Russia. No, that's another thing, because like I was gonna bring that up, but before that, I was like they did not think past like, oh, they're not gonna fight. They're just a bunch of shitty Ukrainians. Their leader's a clown, and then suddenly like they're getting cluster bombed and shit. They're getting like blitzkrieg. They're like pathways are being stoken, and they're still fighting back. Russians lost purportedly 10,000 like soldiers, casualties. Maybe not all of them died, but a lot of them got fucking injured. And I'm like, you have every military advantage and you've still fucked it up. You are bringing in, if it weren't for bombs, they would get fucking flattened. Like this is like when the British came to attack the Americans, or like the Americans trying to attack Vietnam. When you got the underdog, the home field advantage is pretty goddamn important.
Yeah.
Like shit. But the economic sanctions, oof. They're getting sent back to like the pre-internet days. It's insane.
Did you fucking see that clip? I think I linked you or the Wild West where a guy's like, on air next to the reporter, and he's like, and just like the guy did back when the stocks destroyed, I'm going to take a drink in the name of the death of the Russian stock, and the guy is like pouring himself a glass of vodka, drinking it live on screen, and the girl is just like, what the fuck? We didn't agree to this.
It was, honestly, that was amazing. I'm just, like, God, it always comes back to this, but like, you don't see shit fall like that unless it's a rug pull out of crypto. Yeah. That's how fucked up it was. Oh God, I can't believe Putin rug pulled the ruble. Don't I feel sorry for those who invested in that. Which actually you can't.
Where's my fucking note? Rug pulled the ruble.
Rug pulled the ruble. I love that. But like, but actually, like another thing about the economy, like if you invested in a Russian company, you can't sell the stock now. You're stuck with it. Because if you sell it, then they'll be in even more shit. That's the episode name, pal. Name now. Rug pull the ruble.
Well, maybe we come up with something better, but no. Wasn't there some
That's
shit,
a good one, though.
Wasn't there some shit about Germany and a few others not wanting to get involved? They got trade with Russian fuel or something?
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? I can understand. Because like, everything's like a complex web of bullshit. Because if anyone tries to do anything, it's going to be seen as an attack, and then there's going to be nuclear Armageddon. Because I genuinely believe Putin's crazy enough to not only just bomb Ukraine and whoever they see as aggressor. I see him pulling the switch on fucking everybody. Because the guy is a goddamn lunatic. But have you seen the people in America throwing bottles of vodka away to show their support? But then people point out that it was vodka made in America. I was like, honestly, I do too. Because like
you feel sorry for the people in Russia.
Yeah, I do actually.
Yeah. I'm just prefacing it because you go, yeah, I do too, and I'm assuming that you're replying to the written comment.
Oh, I thought I read it out loud. I'm sorry. But yeah, like the reason the sanctions are there is just to pressure the oligarchs into offing their glorious leader. No, Claudius is justified genocide. This is not an isekai. We're in the same place. Y'all stop. Stop. Cease and desist.
No. Speaking of the whole like bottles thing, was it Carlsberg who was like, "Hey Ukraine, we got this huge shipment of empty Carlsberg bottles for you." Oh, Carlsberg, what are we going to do with that? I don't know, but they're perfect size for malted cocktails. Apparently they just like gave them all these bottles for free and were like, do with them what you want. I don't know.
There was like a video I saw of like a bunch of women standing in the cold making Molotov cocktails, and I'm like, that's fucked up, but that's also like kind of amazing that everyone's pitching in right now. It's like, okay, well, you forced our hand. We had to cancel our book club for this shit. And I'm like, these people have fucking like balls of titanium. Like, holy shit.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, I know this is something scattershot because this shit is so fucking big, and this happened within the last 2 weeks. I saw a clip of a small store owner who was selling Molotov cocktails.
They gotta make a living.
Giving them away for free. Gotta make a living. But like, believe it or there was a comment in the chat who were talking about there are a lot of like Russian supporters of Putin, of all this happening, and like unfortunately there are people who do genuinely believe that. It's crazy because like how do I put this? Even if you don't think Zelensky is a hero or not, because I've seen people detracting him, still calling him a clown after everything he's doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he is winning this fucking information war. You cannot deny that the shit he's doing is making Ukraine look amazing and making Russia look fucking stupid. And it's fantastic. during like the I think it was during like the National Assembly where they had like a bunch of countries come in. One of the speakers of Ukraine brought up a letter from a Russian soldier, and people were calling that shit. Oh no, that's fake. No, there's no fucking way that's real. The Ukraine probably made that to be fake. But you think about it. This was a Ukrainian speaker trying to show sympathy for the Russian soldiers, and there's people calling it fake. If it's real, you humanize the Russians, but if you call it fake, you're just confirming that these people are monsters and don't deserve any fucking rights.
Yeah.
It's like, call it dirty and underhanded, but that's fucking brilliant. That's shit you see in fucking anime, where like there's nobody like smart, like no one's gonna come up with this dumb bullshit, but it's working.
I'm reminded of this one clip, and I like it. It was one of those things that really helped me just go, man, Ukraine, you're a bunch of fucking chimps. Which is where they apparently have a Russian soldier who did not want to be there. And what they've done is that they've lent him their phones so he could call his mom. They've put a fucking blanket over his shoulders. They've given him a cup of tea and a little cake. And they're just like all gathering around him going, hey man, here, have this. And it's just like, these are like, I am well understanding that it can be fucking hard to discern like the person from the group. We're saying, oh, Russia is at war with Ukraine. No, it's actually more akin to Putin and his posse are in war with Ukraine. And I think like that, like making that distinction is extra hard when your neighbor's house just blew up. And then for these people to still just go, hey man, are you okay? Do you need something? To the person who is in the army that is attacking them is just like the love these people have is astounding.
It's like I'm reminded of like a story of like the Christmas story in the middle of World War II, where like the Americans and the Germans like got out of the trenches. They're like, hey, it's Christmas, let's just have a ceasefire, and they all just started talking. It was like, what the fuck are we doing here? And I'm like, that genuinely. I always thought that thing was bullshit. I always thought that story was fucking fake. But I'm like, seeing this shit happen here, like, it's fucking heart-wrenching, man. What was that quote from Men in Black? A person is smart, a mob is stupid.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah. But it's more like just, all of this is just like Putin's ego.
Yeah.
And it's getting deflated constantly. Everyone is suffering because of him.
Yeah, which is what makes this extra scary. Because I think Putin as well knows that he's looking like a fucking doofus. And so what do desperate people do? They start doing desperate things. And unfortunately, the desperate things that Putin can do are pretty fucking desperate.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm gonna be like as hyperbolic as possible. The only way for Russia to survive is if he's not there.
Yeah, I've been thinking
because
the exact same thing.
If he does the desperate thing, Russia is gone. Russia is like not even a third world country. It's going to be destroyed. It's going to be.
It's going to be called America U.S. Lake.
U.S. Lake. Like, all the snow's gonna melt, and it's just gonna be property of the United States. Like, he's doing all this to preserve the Soviet the Russian Sea.
The Red Sea.
the Red Sea. Like, it's fucked up to think about, but I'm like, he's in a position where he's essentially doomed his fucking country because he's in his head. He thought what he was doing was going to save it. And it backfired tremendously. I'm just like, how do you fuck up this bad?
I don't know, but I think like we didn't really touch on it probably, but I too, like I'm right there with you. I feel bad for the Russians as well, because if there's one thing we've seen, these are not people who wanted to do this. These are people who are actively like rejecting what Putin is doing, and they are getting hit with all these sanctions and all this shit because the rest of the world wants Putin to stop, and we cannot like attack him directly, so we have to do this, which means that all of the Russians are suffering from it. People who would want nothing more than to just go fuck you, Putin, and peace the fuck out cannot even do that anymore.
There are people in jail for 15 years for talking against the war. Like, there are people actually in jail right now because there are protesters. Like, people say, oh, only a third of the country is protesting, so that doesn't matter. You realize that, like, the fucking population is stupid big in Russia. A third of the people is a lot to say, hey, Putin, fuck off. So that's a third of the people. They almost have as much people in jail as America does. I
second guess myself if one person is like, hey man, maybe this isn't a good idea. Imagine having 250,000 people go, maybe you fucked up.
I saw a video of people in Russia who were being stopped on the street in order for the police to look through the messages on their phone. Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Oh yeah, and you can get thrown in jail by refusing.
Mm-hmm. Like, he is on... To use social media terms, motherfucker's on full damage control right now.
Yeah.
Like I've heard, oh no, illegal memes. I'm like afraid to like talk to like getting too much information out of like my new Russian artist friend about any of this shit, because I'm afraid, because like they're just a fucking art student. They're in Russia during all this shit happening. They can't do anything. They're just like, hey. My teachers are mad at my art because it's too pretty and shit. I'm like, bro, and you're going through all this? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is this Pepe the Frog? That is 8 years.
So, and like we are, I kind of want to get this out there. We are sat here in comfy little Denmark and America, and we are like making these jokes, but it's not because like we are not like understanding of the perils that are going on both sides of this whole fucking thing. I think like you're in the same boat as me here, Claudia, where we laugh because it's everything we can do. It's all we can do. Like, we do have sympathy for, as we just know, both sides of this whole thing. But us laughing and cracking these jokes is not because like we are like not compassionate about what is going on. It's because if we don't laugh, we cry, basically.
Yeah. Like, that's exactly it. I think it was like Alice or Shane in the chat. I don't remember who wrote it. Both their names are purple. Like, they mentioned something about like how foreign Air Force aid is not allowed to happen because that could be seen as retaliatory. Like, I don't know if you saw this, but like yesterday it came out, Poland did some weird, crazy bullshit where it's like, hey, America, I'll trade you some of our planes for some of your planes. And Americans are like, okay. And then Poland fucking goes into Ukraine. It's like, oh, we're just going to park these planes here. And we're just going to go take a 3-day coffee break. You do whatever the fuck you want, guys. And I'm like, you got to go through all these weird loophole bullshits just so you're not seen as a goddamn aggressor.
Yeah.
And it's like, if it's so much as like, sending Ukraine like a donation fund, if that gets traced back to America, that could be seen as a goddamn aggression by this goddamn psychopath. As with all these countries are helping, but in a way to not actually start World War III. Yeah, that's right. That's basically what's happening right now. It's more like.
Run.
I was going to mention like how NATO. Ukraine asked for like a no-fly zone, and that would stop all the bombing. But NATO said, if we do that, we might start World War III, so we can't. So you're on your own, which sucks horrendously. Yeah. You can understand where they're coming from, but that's also a bitch move. But I personally thought they should have done it, but like that's just me. Honestly, they probably did the right thing at the end of the day because we don't want to start nuclear warfare. But the fact that it's shit like that, where we can't do anything like actively, or else he's gonna drop the goddamn bomb. Ireland, the only beef Ireland has with anyone is England.
I read earlier this week about the Danish soldiers who wanted to go and help Ukraine, but of course, you can't just go and do that. No, they were ex-soldiers. Sorry, they were ex-soldiers. But you can't just go and do this because like you cannot take a Danish soldier uniform. Because then, like, a Russian can report, "Hey, we see a Dane on the fucking battlefield," and then all of a sudden Denmark is in the shit. So what they did was like this group of people bought Adidas clothes and then and has now gone to Ukraine to help.
That's like a double kick in the pants because Adidas left Russia. It's like. Our fellow Gopniks. What are we doing? We used to share Semitsky.
They're gonna fucking slap squirrel all that shit.
I'm just fucking... Like, we have to do all this fucking clown bullshit. Because if we were to do anything professionally, we get fucking... They drop the bomb on us. Which is, like... First off, it shows the ingenuity of man. That, like, we're able to, like, come up with these solutions. But it's also, like... Oh god.
You gotta ask yourself, like, how much can we stretch this thing until it eventually breaks? Like, how much can we actively do before Putin decides this is a step too far, you are now involved, get fucked?
If I have to be honest with you, unless, like, we have, like, an oligarch stepping in and kicking him out of office. Unless there's, like, some sort of hostile takeover. Unless, like, Putin stands down. It's gonna be pretty... They say things have low chance, but, like, he's gonna escalate it. No matter what. Because, like, he came in, like, as... He did this preemptively. Like there was a propaganda website that shot their load too quickly, and they posted a victory story of how Ukraine was a symbol of weakness in the West and how they're a problem and how they needed all these things needed to be done. And they were like, he knew full well that like all this bad stuff was going to happen, and he was expecting glorious victory. And I think he still expects it at the end of the day. So whatever's going to happen, he's going to escalate it eventually.
Yeah. And
when that happens, is how we're going to respond is going to be like the crazy thing. First bomb will not be the last. No, and that's like my biggest fear. Yeah. If he drops the first bomb, Russia's gone.
It's Pandora's box. The moment you open that box, you cannot put what happens back in.
We're going to be living in Fallout 5. Oh god, I live in Boston. I'm going to be living in Fallout 4.
Oh my god. Shit. How close are you to the pit?
Not very, but it's still within my vicinity. Oh, that's the worst part. I don't even get to be in Nevada. I don't get to be in New Vegas. I have to be in fucking Fallout 4. Is that any better than Metro? No, it's probably going to suck even worse than Metro. Oh, man.
I like that you're specifically annoyed that you have to live in Fallout 4. Fallout 3? That's fine. Fallout 4? Fuck me. Fallout 76? Gun in mouth, we're going to Flavortown.
Basically. I mean, like, Fallout 3 wasn't the best, but, like, it was
fine.
Fallout New Vegas, that's pretty good. But, like, I don't want to have, like, thinly veiled racism with robots for, like, the 80th time.
No, but, Claudia, you don't understand. They made Fallout 4 on a completely new engine. do disregard the fact that all of the bugs and engine stuff that you could do from Fallout 3, you can also do in Fallout 4. Don't worry about that.
Don't worry, I could just clip through everything and zip through the entire world going super speed.
Listen. If you want to back your power armor up against a door and then step out of it to clip through that door, that is your prerogative.
At least I have that.
And expect people with trains for heads. Oh, God.
It's been... But yeah, like, we make the joke, but at the same time, it's like... I'm honestly really praying that, like, the Russian oligarchs who are basically seeing Putin do this shit, they basically stop him. That they have fucking spines. Like, oh, God. That would be, honestly, the best thing to do would be that either like Putin admits defeat. He doesn't give a shit about his own people. He doesn't give a shit about like the cause of nuclear war. They're all tools to meet his end to put his place in history.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like, I'm hoping somebody cares about their own goddamn lives enough to take him out.
Yeah.
That is my highest hope, honestly. And where the highest ranking person opponent isn't that high up at all. Oh no, there's not. They have a fake planted liberal branch of government. They have like they have a quote unquote liberal party that's just there to oppose all of Putin's shit, but they have no power. They're just there for lip service to appear to the world that, hey, we have a liberal branch, we're totally democratic. News have been around, 70, 80 years. You think there was no secret stuff developed? See, if all the American money that we put into the military wasn't put into, like, weird pedos' pockets to go to fucking Epstein's Island, I would have believed we would have had some countermeasures. But no, the military government complex in America is stupid. And it's just another embezzlement scheme. So, fucking, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in my own fucking country.
Man, all of this talk just made me realize, holy shit, I do not want to be Kojima right now. Because apparently he made Metal Gear, which is all about, like, nuclear deterrence and all this shit, and the fear of nuclear war. He made that because he's deadly afraid of that specific subject. I don't know if he's gotten out of that fear yet, but holy shit, my man must be going through it right now.
I had this thought that, like, 1% hope that, like, the bomb is launched, it's going to drop on somebody. Like, we're either going to see there's a Metal Gear come out and grab the rocket and throw it back to the sky, or fucking Raiden comes, or some sort of Raiden cybernetic ninja soldier comes and slices up all these tanks. I'm hoping something like that happens to take away the monotony.
You see the rocket like flying in the air, and you just see like this little speck that is flying up and starts running alongside of it, and you just and like in the distance, in the wind, you can just like slowly hear, standing here, I realize.
Oh, I fucking love that. Like, that would just like put a nice little bow on everything. It's like, well, Pandora's box is opened. It wasn't the missiles we should have been afraid of. It was actually the cybernetic samurais.
You were living in a Kojima game all along. It's all a simulation, Jack.
Alright, everybody. Case closed. Kojima was correct. We can pack it up now.
Dude, the man at the last VGA Awards actually had to make a fucking like video where he came out and was like, I'm sorry for fucking predicting all this bullshit. Like, the man was like, yeah, so Metal Gear Solid 2 kind of predicted all the social media shit, and Death Stranding predicted all the like social distancing and shit. I will try and make my next game happier or something to that effect.
I think that was what his aim was supposed to be for Death Stranding. Because I remember a lot of the promotional material for that was like, oh, we're gonna stop using the stick. We're gonna make a game about the rope and be about togetherness and shit.
Yeah,
it still came out kind of. I don't know. I mean, still I'd say it accomplished what it was supposed to do. So I think that was his intent with his last game. It's a weird ass game. Don't get me wrong, but it's like it's.
I think there was a story where during the Cold War, Russia wanted to launch the nukes or something, but the order went down the line, and somewhere some rando whose job was to push the button was like, "Fuck that!"
I love that. Oh, actually, no, I heard about that. So, it was actually it was during the Cold War, and they had this Russian satellite that was supposed to read pick up radiation to tell there was a missile coming, and the missile it said that the missile was coming from the USA, and proper protocol was to be like, you see a missile, you retaliate immediately, and the guy was looking there and he was like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. I need to figure out if this is a thing. And it turns out it was just like the sun reflecting off of clouds hitting the radar that made you think it was a missile coming. So, but because that guy had a brain on his shoulders, we're not in the middle of fucking, Fallout right now.
That man saved the world.
Fucking with this kind of topic, I'm fetching some of this. Yeah, that man did. Oh, fuck. Sorry about that.
Is that Persona 3?
It's actually The World Ends With You.
Close.
I should change it to baby, 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 baby,
oh,
baby,
mass destruction.
Yeah.
I remember I first heard that in a fucking in a YouTube poop video with Devil May Cry. I was like, "Oh, this should be banging."
Fuck, God bless. But the nukes will never fire. It's not like bombing someone, it's salting the earth. The moment someone fires a nuke, someone else will fire one back, and no one wants that. The nuke is just a deterrent, that's all. That's, logically, that is what it is. Logically, that is what it is. I think Putin's fucking insane.
Oh, yeah.
I actually had this discussion with my dad, and he, flat out told me, had Putin gone his way, it would have been probably worse, because then China would have just gone for Taiwan, and then we couldn't do shit about it.
Mm.
So I think we were expecting this big old fucking. My dad thought there were special forces coming in from Russia, and not conscripts. So that was fucking funny to tell him that. Never underestimate the idiocy of one man. Yeah, no, that's true. It's this is all one big political clusterfuck. And we just gotta see who wins out at the end of the day. Is Putin's crazy bullshit, or is the whole economic starving gonna beat him out before he can push the button?
No.
Putin had a bad day, lost his temper, and I was kind of having to roll with it.
Yeah, it's like that one time I blew up at my ex when I had lost, I played Street Fighter and just, lost very bad, and she was like, why do you suck like that? I'm like, fuck you! and then you kind of have to, lean into it, because, okay, I guess I'm really angry now.
Aw. When you lose your shit and get into an argument, or you gone too far, too bad, and say sorry.
Dude, remember our fucking fight about Dragon Ball where we were actually discussing, our points were the exact same thing, but it just got lost during the fucking fight?
No, we were halfway through the fight, we were just agreeing with each other, just really angrily.
Yeah.
And we didn't know we were agreeing. That was the best part.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fucking dumb. I loved it.
If someone has something really dumb that they want to let us know about, of an argument they may have had, where could they send that?
Good question. They can send it to webcastrelief@gmail.com.
Okay, so do you have something?
So if you have a prediction that Kojima predicted that you want to tell us about that we missed, where can they send that to?
You can send that to webcastrelief@gmail.com.
Nomura started with this one schmuck about Final Fantasy. Now he shills it for it every chance he gets.
Hey, I just had to play a good one.
That's legit.
Okay, real quick. So Alice and I almost came to fucking blows because when I initially completed Final Fantasy 15, I was like, oh, I actually kind of liked this one because it wasn't like this needlessly overcomplicated bullshit that I had become accustomed to with Final Fantasy. Then we had the fight, and then later down the line, I was actually thinking back on it. I was like, wait a minute. Final Fantasy 15 might just be one of the worst games I've ever fucking played in my life.
That's the thing with like Nomura games. They're really good experiences in the moment when you don't think about it, but then your pesky brain turns on and then everything falls apart.
Again, we were having this talk in the Wild West where people were like, hey man, so this is it called Parasite Eve?
Parasite Eve, yeah, oh yeah, the third birthday thing, how Nomura ruined everything.
Yeah, people are like, man, it's so sad that the third birthday was so trash, and apparently it had like some kind of fucking weird time bullshit or whatever the fuck. Like, what the fuck happened? And I was just all giddy going, hey, guess what fucking cut worked on this shit? And whenever I start a fucking sentence like that, you have three options. It's either David Cage, it is Yokotaro, or it's fucking Nomura. Most cases, it's fucking Nomura.
Oh, I love it. I love how consistent it is.
Shane, 13 is still not the worst. 13 was bad, 15 is leaps and bounds worse.
13 was like Nomura's love letter to his OC. Which honestly, I'm like, you know what? Do your self-indulgent bullshit. I would do the same thing too.
I hear Lightning Returns is actually a good-ass game.
It's weird. Don't talk shit to my Lightning. You? Like, honestly, if it was not as fucked, it'd be okay.
Yeah, like, I mean, that's the case with most things.
Yeah, fair. I don't know much. You know, I did love the soundtrack for 13 for the longest time. I like the battle theme. I never got tired of.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we got at the moment we got a mail from Mr. Gierico, and he says, I know reboots in mainstream media are really trending and kind of a cash grab, but when you reboot something several times, how much is too much? Will a constant rehashing of things 30 to 40 years ago at this point ever make room for new, actually impactful original work in the mainstream? What happens when you grow up with only reboots, never actually see the source material? Okay, I'm happy with this question because I want to have a mini rant right now.
Oh, go on.
He just described everything I have wrong with the comic book industry.
Oh boy.
Granted, I don't read comics. And the reason is literally what he said, reboots. Because, here's the thing. There's like 100 different fucking Batmans. Because every author has their own goddamn take on it. Is that not just a reboot of what Batman was in the way fucking golden age or whatever age of the fucking comic book? Because like there's always like darker, grittier, like reinterpretations, reimaginings, but how much to the point where it's like you could just do that with somebody else. You could just make your own gritty story. But like because you have like different incarnations of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, you're just attaching your own fucking rebooted ideas into this one iconic image. You're only using the name and the face and the stuff because it's recognizable, because you're afraid your own goddamn story isn't gonna be successful enough to reach enough of an audience. That's always been my issue with like the comic book industry, or at least like the cape shit stuff. That turned into hopes and dreams for a moment there.
Yeah. I realized that when I was something, but yeah, I 100%. I feel that like a reboot is only good if you're trying to one or two things. If you're either trying to make it beat for beat the same thing, but with modern visuals, and that can work for some things, like Final Fantasy VII Remake without like the Nomura parts. It's actually a fucking great ass game, and I like playing that and seeing some of the stuff where they like they changed some of the way that Barrett and Cloud were talking with each other and stuff like that, and they humanized some of the, I forget what they're called, but like the one with the bald guys in and the guy with the red hair.
Shinra.
Nah, yeah, well, that particular group had like a specific name. I don't fucking recall, but like that Reno and Root, yeah, that group had something. I don't fuck it. Like all that stuff was fucking great, and it really like added the Turks. Yes,
the Turks.
It really added a whole new level to the game, and I fucking appreciated that. And in some cases, it actually made my Final Fantasy VII experience better than the original did. Then there's the rest, which shit the bed. But like all that stuff was great. And then the other one is that you try and tell the same story, well knowing that people still have like the source material in mind, and you then try and give it a different angle. I can't recall one right now, but that is also a way to do it. But
I can kind of think of one. The one that comes to mind for me is like the Hunter x Hunter 2011 anime compared to like the original one in the 1990s. Because like the 1990 one was, they went their own story with it. It was darker and grittier, and some people like that a lot better. But like the 2011 was beat for beat, it was the manga, and even like did things to like tie in together a lot of plot holes to make it a more seamless experience. Which I personally, it made me believe that the author was a fucking guy who planned shit out. Until I reread the manga and I'm like, no, this guy fucking writes off the sheet of his pants worse than Toriyama. Dragon Ball live action.
I'm trying to think. Did you ever see The Thing and The Thing reboot?
I've not seen the Thing reboot, but what's the Thing? What was with the new Thing is what I'm trying to say.
All right, so The Thing, probably my favorite movie of all time. It's so fucking good. And then I had to see the reboot. And so the thing about the Thing reboot is that they actually had done all of their shots with practical effects, because these were people who were huge fans of the original. But then the producers were like, lol, no, CGI all that shit, and it became a much worse experience. Some of the scares were still great, but it feels like as time has gone on, we have just like lost the ability to appreciate subtlety. Like the whole thing of, hey, what's the one thing that you hear in the original Thing? Well, it's dun 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 dun. Other than that, it is completely quiet, perfectly encapsulating that, oh, these people are fucking alone on this little fucking base with the scariest fucking thing known to man. And then like the new one has like big orchestral strings and big explosions and all this shit, and it's like, no. I think we can all agree that there's been a lot of reboots where they just fucking did it wrong.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like DS original versus remake.
Demon Souls.
Demon Souls. Okay. I was gonna mention, like, I saw. Okay, I'm gonna be also flat out. I don't care jack shit about Star Wars.
Oh.
I think, but I saw a video explaining somebody's personal grievances with like J.J. Abrams, and I think he kind of like hit the nail on the head on what we're talking about. He mentioned he hated the whatever movie it was that he directed for Star Wars. There's like the problem with that is like it's all plot, no scenes, where he's afraid that the audience is going to be bored during downtime, that they don't have the mental capacity to appreciate subtle, quieter moments. So he doesn't let the story breathe. Or like it just goes scene after scene after scene, nonstop punching 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Yeah.
Last time I'm kidding, I don't give a shit either. Yeah, and I'm like, I think he's got a point there with like movies at large where people just don't believe. Well, I'm going to say like because like you definitely don't see it in like a lot of like niche projects when things are made by like smaller creators. But when you're trying to sell something with mass appeal to a mass audience, people assume that like highly consumable media is given to it's like they're assuming everyone on the planet has fucking ADHD. It's J.J. Abrams. He's a hack. His mystery box bullshit is just for some idiot smooth brain who can't appreciate plot and development. Not even he has the answers to the question he's setting up. No, that's true. That's also a thing. That is, but like I'm saying, like I think there's this perception in like higher in like top box office media that says, hey, the audience is stupid. We need to handhold them. We need to make sure their UI tells them fucking everything.
Coming with the spicy meatball there. The funniest thing is that one of the people... So, real quick, just because we don't have a whole lot of time, but what happened was that some creators from Ubisoft and Guerrilla Software and even EA, I think, came out and was like super butthurt that Elden Ring is taking the world by storm right now. And they were saying that good UI UX is dead or whatever the fuck. And there is definitely something to be said about some of the UX in Elden Ring. Like, I agree with one of the statements, which is that, hey, if I press the map button and I get the map, I should be able to press the map button again to make the map disappear. Fine, I'll give that to you. But they're like, oh yeah, but like there's nothing on the actual map. Like, oh my god, what is this? And then people have shown comparisons between that and Horizon Forbidden West. And the map in Elden Ring is, here's a map. There's nothing fucking on it except like landmarks. And you can put down your own little notes or whatever the fuck. There's no like, hey, go here, quest here, or anything like that. If you want, like, if there's a merchant, you have to point out on the map yourself if there's a merchant there. That's not gonna pop up anything. And then they compare that to the Horizon one, where every fucking little inch of that map is covered from head to toe in like icons and shit. Now, I actually really like Horizon Forbidden West. Not as much as Elden Ring, but it's still a fucking great game. But it was just like, you see these people coming for blood from Elden Ring. I was like, fucking why? Why not celebrate it? You're always celebrating every other game. Why this one? And one of the people
Japanese.
Yeah, probably. I guess there's some xenophobic shit there. I saw, like, the one that really fucking got me was the dude from Battlefield who was like, hey, oh my god, the UI UX is fucking garbage. And someone just posted a fucking screenshot of the menu in Battlefield where you cannot see what is on, what is off, and what is highlighted.
Motherfucker just said, hey, this you? It fucking ended.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no one for Battlefield has a right to complain about bad games. Good God.
I saw that in the past 28 hours, there's 536,000 people that has played Elden Ring. And in the last 32 hours, there's been 1,600 people playing the new Battlefield. Which is a multiplayer game, by the way.
It's hilarious. Just dumb shit.
Yeah.
People should not be salty. what's the saying? Like, people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Don't call the kettle black.
Oh god. But reboots. I think they can be done well, but like, I know someone in the chat mentioned, weren't we describing a remaster? And I think nowadays those words are interchangeable. Yes, they're supposed to mean two different things, but people change all the time. That sucks.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
I think like mostly in just colloquial terms, and like, because like I do think those terms are like abused and used the wrong way a lot. I know they do mean separate things. Like a reboot is different from a remaster, but I do think there's a good amount of people who either don't know the difference or use them interchangeably.
Reboot, remaster, and remake, all different things, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I saw something where they were like, "Oh yeah, we're rebooting this thing," and it's like, "Oh yeah, we're remaking The Last of Us." Fucking why? It looks fine. It's on the PlayStation 4. What the fuck?
No, you don't understand. We need to make it consistent with the story in Last of Us 2.
Oh, please
we
don't.
Need to make Joel a horrible human being.
Everything was fine in the first one. Oh, we need to have a fucking podcast one day where we just talk about Last of Us 2.
I have to play. Well, I have to play Last of Us 1, but I need to watch Last of Us 2 because I'm not fucking playing that.
Oh, I can't blame you.
Actually, really side tangent for something else because I realized something. I didn't realize how petty of a person I was until I went through my game library. I have not paid for a Capcom game in 11 years. Not even Monster Hunter. I think I either got those as a gift or I stole it.
What the fuck?
And I didn't realize why I had this inclination until I started watching a lot of Mega Man content recently because I used to be a really huge fan of it, and I'm like, oh yeah, Mega Man Legends 3 was canceled by Capcom. And I saw this this old fandom video from like 10 years ago of like, hey, I'm not paying for Capcom games anymore. And that activated like 20 neurons in my brain being like, oh shit. I was indoctrinated as a fucking child. But yeah, no, I have not paid for a single Capcom game to the point where I don't even realize I'm not buying Capcom games anymore. Because I'm still salty that a game I wanted to play was canceled.
I'm not saying that this was all on him because the man did make fucking Legends, but ever since Inafune left Capcom, it has been fucking smooth sailing for them.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, honestly, I think a lot of the reason why it got canceled was Inafune's fault. I'll be real with you. But like, I'm still really salty that it went out the way it went out because like, I was personally invested in it. I was one of the I had my own fucking number on the website. I was like offering critiques on people's ideas, even though I was a fucking kid and my critiques meant fucking nothing. But they went through this whole campaign to be like, hey, we want to see fan support. If this demo does well, we'll make the full game. And there was a huge amount of people. There was like 10,000 people on this fucking forum. And then like on the day it was supposed to be released, I bought a fucking 3DS, by the way, just to play this game. And it fucking, okay, we're just gonna cancel it without releasing the demo. And I'm like, bitch.
Bitch.
It was at that point where I just swore I'm not going to give money to Capcom, and I realized 10 years later, despite how amazing Monster Hunter World is, I still have not given Capcom any fucking money. And I'm like, I guess I just indoctrinated myself into pettiness. I don't know if I should be scared or impressed.
You know what? I too have vowed never to give Konami any money again. That has turned out to be incredibly easy. Oh no, I can't play fucking Vocaloid or Pro Evolution Soccer? What the fuck?
Oh, I can't play on this Metal Gear pachinko machine? Oh no.
I am fully convinced that I once played pachinko in Yakuza and I had the best run in the world. But I don't know how to play pachinko.
That's like the dream scenario where you go into a gambling hall, you just push some buttons, and then suddenly you're a millionaire.
Yeah, and some guy is like, oh, gotta go. Be right back.
Oh, okay. One time, my brother's cat kept me awake at night. Chair. Oh, right. Fucking his food's coming in. I forgot about that. That's why we were going to end the podcast early. One time, my brother's cat kept me awake at night, so during the day, every time I saw him lie down for a rest, I would shake him awake. Chair chain.
Chair-chan.
Chair-chan. I see your food's here, so I think we should end it now.
Hold on. Playing Yakuza, honest to God, had an easier time teaching myself how to play shogi than I did understanding fucking pachinko. And you fucking learn how to play shogi. That's the most crazy part.
I think it's like chess, but it's like all the pieces have powers. Which I love it.
Before you go, what is the food? It's pizza, and then I also bought some garlic bread because I'm a bitch like that.
Oh, that's good. That's some good shit. I might order fucking Puerto Rican food. I haven't had a good pork shoulder in a while.
Oh, bro, I need to try some Puerto Rican food though.
I can cook it if I had a fucking oven. But no, like I'm gonna have some good food. You have some good food, and thanks for a good podcast today.
Yeah, it was very serious and pretty downer, but hopefully next week we'll be back with some more positive vibes or just topics, I suppose.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can make a podcast about how fucking Putin got kicked in the dick.
Yeah. Okay.
See you guys next
we're not having a mukbang.
No, we're not having a mukbang. Bye!